Well, fellas, I think we are live. Good to have you here, both of you, Richard Greene and Peter Ron. Glad to see y'all.
Testing. Everybody see me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah.
Afternoon there, Jan. Nice to see you.
See you guys. So tell me, you're certainly no strangers to most people that will be watching this, but tell me one thing. You have a real long history together in music, you know. Can you, Richard, tell me when you first met Peter?
Yeah, let me say this. Since you got this idea to do this, Jan, with me and Pete, it generated a lot of thoughts and remembrances and perspectives. And I realized that Pete is probably my best musician, colleague, and best friend. When I look at the whole thing, the whole panorama, I look back at that, and that was we really were tight back then. I just wanted to make that comment. You know.
Thank you, Richard. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah, I've always cherished that with us, and thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
I look back on one incident I can't forget. We were in a bar. Remember that bar we played with Bill Monroe for 6 nights?
The Black Poodle downtown?
Yeah, Black Poodle. Well, I think we were there for something else, and Johnny Cash was in the next booth or something, and we found $37 he left in the crack of the booth. You remember that? Right. So, but we were afraid that we were going to get caught for stealing Johnny Cash's money. So we drove out to this farm where we were living, and we buried the money.
Oh, that's right. We buried the money. It's still there.
Boy, that's youthful. Right there.
Oh yeah, man. There's a lot of memories. I just remember the night that I forgot my hat on the bus. And we had to play the Opry.
Oh, yeah.
And Bill said, go get your hat. And Buddy Spiker drove me out to Goodlettsville to get the hat. And as I got the bus open and the police arrived and took us to jail. And we heard you guys on the Opry, me and Buddy, we heard you on the Opry in the police cruiser going to jail.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Bill came down and bailed us out, and he bailed Buddy out. but Buddy, they kept him in and got Ernest Tubb to come down and bail him out.
Holy shit.
Wickedness.
I spent time in that jail myself. I had an expired registration on my car.
Yeah.
Right to jail. No talk. Right to jail. And inside the jail, all the walls were strewn with blood.
Yeah.
Blood-soaked jail.
Yeah.
That's my jail story.
Footprints high up on the wall near the ceiling. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. That's all we remember, Jan.
Yeah. Well, here is
jail.
Here is the a number I thought. This dates back to 1966 and the party at Tex Logan's house.
Oh man!
Wow.
And I'm gonna just play this here right quick, and then you can tell me about the Tex Logan connection there. So here we go.
Out in the cold world and apart away from home, some mother's boy wandering all alone. No one to guide him, nor to keep his footsteps right. Some mother's boy is homeless tonight. I'll bring back to me my wandering boy. There is no others left to give me joy. Tell him it's a mother with faded cheeks. He's at the old home awaiting him there. breaking in a brand new pair of shoes. Don't look at me like you think I've got the blues. Cause I'm walking around and around, I'm seeing most of the town. I'm breaking in a brand new pair of shoes. So I'm talking to myself. Whoa, no, she ain't put me on the shelf. Breaking in a brand new pair of shoes. As you receive this letter that I write to you, sweetheart, I hope you'll understand that you're the only love I knew. Please forgive me if you can. Sweetheart, I beg you to come home tonight. I'm so blue and all alone. I promise I'll treat you right. Love, oh love, oh please come home. That old wind is slowly, slowly creeping around, and the
there's some multiple fiddles there.
Yeah, who's the other fiddle player?
Tex.
Oh, that was some good commands right there.
And
Yeah.
also Gene Lowinger.
Oh,
I doubt that.
no, I'll tell you what. I've listened a lot to what Gene did, man. He could really rise to the occasion.
Oh, okay.
He really could, especially if there were other players around who were enthusiastic like Tex and yourself.
Oh,
Gene got fired up, man, and he did good. He really did. He just he felt insecure. You know, that's the only problem.
yeah. Okay, good.
Hey, the band was good. That's when we were cooking.
Yeah.
66.
Yeah,
that was good.
That's a Christmas party at Tex Logan's house.
I believe it's not a Christmas. It would have been in the spring in June before the Newport Folk Festival. It was
Okay.
Tex used to throw a barbecue for Bill every year that he came north.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And everybody would be there. Mike Seeger, Jimmy Martin came, a bunch of people came.
Wow. But you know, our best moment, I think, was the recordings. Those recordings are amazing to me.
Yeah.
I know at the time I was like, you know, we remember how we rehearsed with Bill, and we never did anything we rehearsed.
I know. And then they threw songs at us, and that's what we played.
Yeah, that was Harry Silverstein, the A&R guy for Decca.
Yeah.
They had a secret deal going.
But,
no, that stuff, the spontaneity of it is just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I just like just a little background on how I met Richard. There was a man who did a lot of taping back then named Adams Otis. And I was working in Nashville with Bill Monroe, and Gene Lowinger had just left the band, and we didn't have a fiddle player. And Adams Otis kept sending me the, that's part of his name. He has another part of his name, but Adams Otis is how he kind of, that was his handle. He sent me 2 tapes. He sent me a tape of Mike Bloomfield playing electric guitar. There was a tape made for Clarence White by Mike Bloomfield, exploring the key of E, because Clarence had G. I mean, he knew G backwards and forwards, but Mike knew E, you know, coming up from the Chicago blues. So I was listening to that tape, and the other tape was, it was Richard Greene and Scotty Stoneman sitting there, and Scotty was giving Richard a fiddle lesson, and he kept playing this one lick over and over again, which is an old blues lick. Black snake in my room.
Right.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
And then later on in the tape was Scotty with the Kentucky Colonels.
Oh my
And
God.
I said, man, I thought Scotty was the best guy the most passionate fiddle player out there, after Chubby Wise, and at least at that moment, and here was Richard Greene. He was learning that stuff from Scotty, and I started listening to Richard's stuff, and we eventually got in contact with you when we came down through Montreal. Well, we went up on the road. We had no fiddle player. It was James and me. No, not even James. It was Bill, Lamar, and I. And James was not on because he had a DWI. No, he had a restricted passport. Oh dear. Oh dear, yeah, it's a long time ago. So we came down through Montreal, and Ralph Rinsler had flown you to Montreal to join the band at that time. That's the first time I met you. You were with the Greenbrier Boys,
right?
Playing bass.
Now, that's right, half the set. When I met you in Montreal, I go on stage, and there's these three or four guys. There was a bass player then, I think, at that point.
I think that was McGill University, and I don't think we had a bass player.
Right. So there were three guys with hats, and I didn't know anything. So I walk up to one of them and say, "Which one is Bill Monroe?" And that was Pete that I walked up to, and he told me. He pointed out and so I didn't have a hat. If you see the pictures from then,
yeah.
And that was our first meeting. I actually asked you which one of you was Bill Monroe.
I should have said me. No.
Now, what year would this have been, or what month of?
Late 64, I think.
No. It was 60. It would have been 66 or 5. 5.
Okay, no, 5 because Gene played the first Fincastle Festival.
Right.
And that was in autumn of October and November that you joined up in 65. That's right. But we went to England. I thought we went to England in 65, but it must have been the 66.
Yeah.
Spring.
We played Oxford University, I think. Did we play Oxford?
Yeah, man. And you remember that they had these weird lights on us that made our teeth look green?
Do you remember what we did backstage before the set?
Yes, I do.
We got looped.
And the weird thing was we came on stage and these lights made our teeth green colored. And we could not hold it together. And even Bill was laughing. I mean, it was so funny.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, man.
So let's listen to another piece here that I have, and it's from the same occasion here. The date is actually June 20th. Peter, you're right. You listen to this breeze.
There's folks building homes as sweet as can be. They're leveling their yards and planting their trees. But my little hut, I just let it be. Lord Jesus is building a mansion for me. Mansion for me. A mansion for me. A mansion for me. He'll find my Lord.
So who is this?
Hazel Dickens singing harmony.
She's no Bill Monroe.
For me. Each day I am go. I'm cleansing my sin more white than snow. I'm packing my troubles, I'm bound with love. We're ready to heaven above. Mansion for me, a mansion for me, a mansion for me. Built by my Lord, beyond Calvary. But my little heart, I just let it free. For Jesus is there, a good mansion for me. You have homes in this world below. Driving my car wherever you go. There's gonna be a time when the Lord fades away. Get ready to wait me on that day. Mansion for me, a mansion for me, a mansion for me, a mansion for me. Built by my Lord, beyond Calvary. But my little heart, I just let it be. For Jesus is there, King of mansion for me.
So that's another number there from Tex Logan's party there. So you were getting ready to go to what festival did you say? Newport or something?
That's 66.
Yeah.
That we would have be on our way to England at that point, or just back from England.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And probably Newport too.
Yeah. Now I have something here. Do you all remember playing at the Gaslight in Cambridge? I'm sorry, in New York City.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of my early gigs with Bill. I was sort of breaking it in at that point.
Yeah.
That was a nice gig though. It's a small room, and of course Dave Grisman and Steve Arkin, all the New York pickers were there, and they're just, you know.
Yeah.
Tony Trucci was there too. I remember he keeps mentioning that. But I remember going to that gig. I was late, so I was running down the street, one of those streets downtown, with my violin case like this, and the case opened up, and the field crashed to the concrete.
Oh my God!
On the way to I put it back in the case. Went to the gig. It turned out all right. But I'll never forget. That's a horrible feeling to have when your fiddle falls out like that. It's terrible.
There are worse feelings, I can tell you.
Yes.
You know, like instruments being stolen. That's the worst.
Yeah, that's right. That's a bad one.
That's not a good one.
You know, Terry Balkin's got this thing in the front of the screen there. Should say hello to him.
Who's that?
Terry
Balkin.
Terry.
Yeah, he's two of Monroe's finest bluegrass boys right there.
You know, that's a nice compliment. Thank you so much.
Thanks
for we worked in fear. We had the bluegrass boy, you know, crouch. We were like, oh my God. You know?
Yeah. Well, let's just listen to a cut from that Gaslight, 1966.
Thank you.
Whoa!
Howdy, folks. Howdy. Good to here with you tonight, and we really got a lot of microphones here. I'll call everybody's name off right quick so we can move right along with some picking and singing. On the left-hand side, James William Monroe, my son. And the next fellow in line with the guitar there is from Boston. His name is Pete Jordan. And with the little fiddle from California, Richard Greene. And on the right-hand side from Washington, D.C., Lamar Grier. Let's give them a nice hand tonight. We're going to start things rolling here with Richard Greene. He's taking care of an old timer called the Panhandle Country.
All right, man. Talk about your timing. I believe that's bluegrass timing there.
That's what I got from Bill, right?
Oh, yeah. Jen, I want to ask you, what's the date of that?
That is 66. Let me see.
Yeah, it's right around the time we went to England and we're at Texas House.
Actually, the only information I have says it's 1966.
Yeah, it was the spring, I believe. But I'd just like to say something about when Richard joined the band.
Mm-hmm.
He did two things that were sort of amazed me at the time. I actually lived with Richard, a guest at his quarters there for a while. And the first thing that I thought was unusual, because Bill was, very, when it came Richard's turn to drive the bus, Richard just said, "Bill, I don't have a license." And it wasn't like, I really don't drive well, I don't want to drive. It was like, I just don't have a license. So Richard got out of driving. But I remember at odd hours, Richard in his bare feet, and he wore red socks, you'd hear him padding down the aisle. And he'd say, "Where are we?" And I'd be like on the wheel, and I didn't know where we were either. We were just flying blind. But the other thing about Richard was that when he joined the band, he could play all inside and outside a tune. But Bill had a very special place. He wanted things to, when you have that little bluegrass jump on the beat, it has to be a note that's going to drive everything forward. And it takes some listening. And I remember Bill asked Richard for a few gigs to only play rhythm.
Right.
And then play solos, but no backup. So
right.
Richard, one of the things about that band was that Richard developed this wicked, because you tuned right into Bill's rhythmic thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you were doing was an extension of Bill. It wasn't just a fiddle part, like bluegrass, the chop, the rhythm chop.
Yeah.
It's not like that. it could be like that. I mean, you know, it could be wide. You know, it's like a longer stroke on the fiddle or the you know, the mandolin, and especially on the guitar, he wanted me to always play the second beat. And all guitar players know that you can really get by just playing the bass notes, and just once in a while give a little flick to the high strings. Man, but he insisted that both beats be played.
Wow!
And those tapes were at the height of that. Richard was just starting to play his leads, and the timing of everything was starting to really click in the band at that time, I thought.
Right.
Yeah.
Great comment. Great.
This is another cut that from the same show, and let's see.
Hello from Brussels. Hello, Brussels.
Yeah. Brussels.
Yeah, that's my good friend Anna. She changed her last name, but she's a fiddle player.
Cool.
And we got several people from Sweden here too, and all over the place. So it's good. You got a lot of fans around the world, guys. You really made an impact on music, you know.
I hope Andy Stanton is watching this.
Andy, yeah.
Make a comment if you're on. Go ahead, John. Yeah.
The Green, let's see, the Red Hot Pickers. He was part of that band. Okay, so here is another one from the Gaslight.
Oh.
Thank you a lot. Right here is the spot where Pete Rowan always gives us a good solo number, and the sunny side of the mountain, as it runs from the roof. We better forget me, little darling, though I'm growing old and gray. Just a little thought before I'm going far away. I'll be waiting on the hillside where the wild red roses grow. On the sunny side of the mountain where the river waters flow.
Yeah, Lamar.
Yeah.
Now don't forget about the day we courted many years ago. Don't forget those promises you gave me and so. I'll be waiting on the river where the wild red roses grow. On the sunny side of the mountain where the river waters flow. Now tell me, darling, in your letter, do you ever think of me? I wonder, little darling.
Lamar.
Oh yeah. Lamar's great. What's his son?
I talked to David.
Yeah, I did too.
Okay. Sunny Side of the Mountain. Was that a song you used to sing a lot with Monroe?
Not that often, but I think I went through a thing with Bill where I started bringing in tunes that weren't part of his choice, and he said that would be a good one for you to sing, which was of course a Jimmy Martin song.
Yeah.
And I didn't remember even singing it, but the song he wanted me to have as a solo number was a song called "I Washed My Hands in Muddy Water, but They Didn't Come Clean."
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Oh, that was before your time, Richard. I'm sorry. But no, when I joined, he said, here's the number I want you to sing. And I wanted to sing Dark Hollow because I'd heard Del sing it, Del McCurry, and I thought that was the number you sang in that spot, the guitar spot. And later on I brought in Cold Rain and Snow, which I picked up out in Los Angeles up at the Ash Grove. Right. I was staying at someone's house and I listened to all their records and I heard that song around the same time Jerry Garcia heard it, and we ended up both recording on the Dead's first album was Cold Rain and Snow, and when we did Muleskinner, which was it was actually Muleskinner was and Old and in the Way, all that happened. It was only 5 years after we were with Bill. Richard, do you realize that?
Yeah, I know.
It was no time at all. But Sunny Side of the Mountain was one of those numbers where Bill said the timing was right. In other words, the phrasing was in the pocket kind of phrasing, and that's what he wanted from a singer.
Thank you, Christopher Henry. I love that comment.
Chris,
yeah.
Hey.
Good comment.
Quotient of chubby. Yeah, man.
I was just thinking that sounded exactly like Chubby off there, and then sounded like Richard Greene on the break there with some Scottish.
But I want to ask Richard, so on the final turnaround at the very end, it sounded like you did you sort of did a save, like, you know what I mean? It's like the turnaround started to happen and it sounded like you were deep in the solo and maybe you weren't catching the final turnaround to end the solo, but the way you utilized what you did. Do you remember anything? Can you say anything about that?
Yeah, what happened a lot is I would just get lost. I wouldn't know where I was. I would get so focused on playing whatever. So that happened actually a lot. So I was saving myself at the last minute and stuff. There was a moment in the middle of that solo where I was completely lost. That I could hear. So yes, that's what happens.
So but the way you save those moments is so classic. It's like, wow, that's an innovation right there.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned to do that kind of too, because I would get lost, and sometimes I forget the words, and I could make up words real quick. So,
Yeah. Okay. I got another number that the people will really enjoy here.
Oh, good.
Okay, we will do them all the time. That's to do a number of people and such things.
That's Bill right there.
The wind is blowing across the mountain and down o'er the valley where it belongs. It sweeps the grave of my love. When I die, that's where I'm gonna go. The Lord send the angels for my darling and take her to that home on high. I'll wait my time out here on earth alone and come to Him when I die.
Well,
I hear a lights out in the darkness. It moans and whispers through the pines. I know it's my sweetheart a-calling. I hear her through the walls of time. Lord, send the angel for my darling, and take her to that home on high. I'll wait my time out here on earth and come to you when I die. Our names are carved out on the tombstone.
Oops.
Yeah,
That.
Travis, thanks for the comment. And I want to say something about that song. I recall that Pete Rowan wrote that song.
Yep.
Am I right or what? What happened? Am I right about that?
Well, you know, I mean, I tell the story on stage. We were driving up north to Bean Blossom from Nashville, and the bus broke down, and we were stranded on the edge of a canyon called Horse Caves, Kentucky. And I had been driving. I was standing outside the bus under an oak tree, looking down over this canyon and watching the birds fly up and the sun come up over the mountains to the east. And Bill came off the bus, and he had on his blue jean, you know, on the road outfit, his blue jean jacket and his jeans and everything. And he walked up to me, and I was doing what Bill did. I was musing, you know. He said he never missed a sunrise. That was one of his things. Never missed a sunrise, never missed a sunset. And it kind of puts you in a mood when you around people like that, you know. And so I'm standing there, and he walks up to me, and he gets real close to my ear. And I didn't turn around. He was just sort of there. And he goes, "Now, Pete, you listen good to this, and don't you ever forget it." And he sang the melody like this. And Richard, this is how he would teach solos, right? He'd go, ta 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 ta.
Yeah.
Ta 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 ta. And so I started writing words to it. Oh, he had this much. He had, and then he sang it. The wind is blowing across the mountain, down o'er the valley way below. And that was it. Yeah. And I jumped into the mythology of the whole Monroe thing with the parents' gravesides and the lost lovers. And it sweeps the grave of my darling. When I die, that's where I want to go. Yeah. And then the rest of it just kind of flowed. And we worked on it for months and made it a big number, a really good number for us. And we used to follow it with Wayfaring Stranger. Yeah. You know, that was a good, because I was capoed up in 3 playing in an A position, which I got from like Lightning Hopkins, where you could play the blues runs on the bass strings and get that high ringing G position with your little finger. And there's no 5 chord in the song. Right. It's just 2 chords, which I just, because I had been listening to a lot of blues, I thought that was a natural place to go with that song. And in the end, it became so involved with my relationship with Bill that for the longest time, he really couldn't share the credit with me. Yeah. But he, you know, in the end, he sort of did. Well, good. Okay. He said, "Then we're good days, Pete." You know, and I remember he owed me like $300, which when you're getting $25 a show, that's a lot of shows. Yeah. Of course, he knew my rent was probably, you know, $10 a month, so he didn't feel too bad about it. I said, Bill, I wonder if I could get some of that show money. And he goes, Pete, you know, your money's as good with me as it is in a bank.
What a great line. Oh my God.
And it is, because it's still there.
Yeah, still there. Well, that's a mighty fine guitar playing there, Pete.
Well, you know, I just was trying to do what I thought he wanted. Of course, and you know, Del McCurry was, being a banjo player, he had a different approach to the guitar. So his runs were very clean, and he played a lot of runs. I think I tried to play as much as I could, following Jimmy Martin and Del's kind of very clean approach. But at a certain point, before Richard joined the band, actually, I started to do some syncopations like Clarence White, and Bill hated that. He did not want to hear any of that. However, in Bill's earliest recordings, there are syncopations like that.
Yeah.
The Clyde Moody played some syncopations like that, but Bill would say at that time, he said, that doesn't fit our style.
Okay.
In other words, he was very much in the moment of his players, right, Richard? The players of the moment, that sound was what he was going for. He didn't want a historic representation of his music. He wanted that group of players to really spark.
I have to comment, Pete's runs, he's number one in the history of music, of guitar runs, absolutely. The tone, Pete brought to the guitar, to accompany bluegrass guitar, something no one else ever brought, which was a serious concern and commitment to tone.
Yeah.
To tone. And he would support those each run with the next string over. When you to make it really ring, you know. No one ever did that I can recall hearing. So kudos to that.
Thank you, brother. It's a great pleasure to play that way. And I mean, when you think of all the years that we played together, even in Seatrain, I wish I'd done a little more of that, you know, but my role in that band became more like the mandolin chop.
That's right. Role. Rhythm guitar, electric rhythm, you know.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
Oh, not even close.
But I got to put the run in OBS.
Oh yes, sure did.
You know,
sure did.
Put the old G run right in there. Get that amp hopping.
That's right.
Yeah, we used to close our shows with Seatrain with the Orange Blossom Special. I mean, this was a band that was based on classical music and a kind of deep sense of arrangement and very rock and roll. And we rehearsed every day of the week. Every day of the week we rehearsed. You know, I've never been able to get anybody to rehearse every day of the week since then.
Yeah.
I've tried, and I'm like, don't you want to rehearse like again today? It's like, and the thing was that Andy Kohlberg from the Blues Project was the kind of local genius of the band, and even if we couldn't hear it, he knew, because of his classical background, that going over and over and over things suddenly made it made a kind of spontaneity that's very different than just being spontaneous. It made the arrangements have such power, which was a continuation of Bill's thing. You know, he didn't want people kind of like tagging along, and you know, it was like you finish your part, somebody else is going to come in and they're going to hit it, because we usually only had like one microphone. Yeah. That Bill's words were, well, you know, the little fiddle will come up there and it will play its part, and then here comes the banjo right there, and now the banjo can't let it down. The banjo's got to take it further, right? Yeah. And then here comes the mandolin. Now everybody's listening. It's me playing the mandolin, you know. But you know, I mean, there was this idea that Bill said you have to play something that someone can follow, and I don't know if he meant something that's not so far out, but something simple that people can listen to. But he also meant when you sing your final vocal phrase and the solo's coming in, that vocal phrase has to be there for the soloist to come in on. And the tailing out in bluegrass, where you got those extra bars, like a final turnaround, and Richard would play out. He's moving away from the microphone, but somebody else is moving in, and Richard is leaving like a musical trail for the person to come in on top of. I mean, that's really important in bluegrass, and I think we've gotten too tame. I believe bluegrass just got a little bit too tame.
Sterilized.
Yeah. Well, we were so careful. Everybody's so careful about recording. They don't want any mistakes. And it's like, you know, who did we listen to? You know, we listened to Porter Church and Scotty Soman and Chubby Wise and
Earl Scruggs
and Lester Flatt. Oh, by the way, I want to mention something about that. But we also listened to John Coltrane and Eric Dolphy and Miles Davis. And we listened to how they did it. You know what I mean? And how their sense of space following notes would influence us. But Richard, I just want to mention, do you remember the morning we went over to the Flatt and Scruggs TV morning show at WSM?
Yeah, really early.
Like 5:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
And they were so surprised to see us because they had seen us backstage at the Opry. And I think maybe I had asked, or you had asked, if we could come over in the morning. But for Bill's Bluegrass Boys to show up at a Flatt and Scruggs radio show with their instruments, we did bring our instruments. What was wrong with us, man? That was like, I mean, I don't think Bill ever heard that we did that. But Flatt and Scruggs were absolutely flabbergasted. Wow. I remember Earl coming up and saying, "Well, what are you boys doing here?" I said, we love you. We love bluegrass. You know, we want to. Remember that? I think you may have gotten up and played. No, maybe not. Do you think? You do remember.
Well, let's put it this way. I believe you. I believe you.
It was early, and we probably fueled our brains on the way there. But
I think we did an early show like that with Bill, though, didn't we, too? I remember early radio shows, but it's foggy.
Yeah,
they are foggy. Yeah. But that just those days, you just didn't. You played for the team.
Oh,
you didn't really go to the other team and hang out in the locker room. No.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. But that was the first time I saw Earl Scruggs from 10 feet away in the audience, and to see how he worked his instrument and his vocal, and there was always room to move, and he was never awkward in his moves. It was very balletic. Yeah.
Were you with me when we went on his airplane?
I never got to fly on Earl's
airplane. He let me take the wheel of his airplane.
You flew his plane, man?
Yeah, we almost died. He had this like tiny little thing that flew, and he let me take the wheel went. You know, that was an early morning thing too. And that was scary. But that added.
Well, it's better than going to jail over a cowboy hat.
Yeah. You
lived.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's clear our minds from the fog and listen to something here. Maybe some more memories will come back to.
Yeah.
I once had a darling who I've come to. Life was bright day, everything comes. But I fell for another, and now I go. Oh, I live in sorrow till my day. Down the highway of sorrow, I'm traveling. I've lost so much, I've lost the happy.
that's me or not.
Sounds a little bit like Kenny.
Yeah, I don't know if that's me.
Is that you?
I'm not sure.
Well, I haven't heard that song in a long time.
That's me.
Maybe Glenn Duncan.
That's probably me.
I went back to my darling, I got down on my knees. I begged her with tears to get my parole. But she was hurt so deeply.
I think that's Rudy Lyle on the fiddle.
Really?
On
Wow.
the banjo.
That's me for sure.
That's you, Richard.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. That is you.
Yeah, I know.
That's Lamar.
Ah,
Absolutely, man.
yeah,
It
it must be on here.
What a great tune.
Oh, yeah. Jan's gone, though.
I'm still here. Let me
All right.
back to my.
Finland.
There we go.
Who have you seen?
I loved Finland, man.
This guy says he's seen. Did we go to Finland together?
No, we were in Sweden, and we played the
Yeah.
in Denmark we played Copenhagen.
Yeah, that's
with
right.
with Seatrain.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some good video from that
Yeah.
show.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
you-
Very good. High quality, actually.
Yeah.
They I would say Finland though was I went there in the 80s, I think,
Oh.
in the summertime, and it never got dark.
Right.
Yeah.
And we got into a sauna it was called a smoke sauna, wood sauna. We got in about 9 in the evening and didn't come out until like 3 in the morning, and the sun hadn't gone down the whole time. It was just coming out in the daylight.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they have an instrument there called a table zither.
Yeah, Compton, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's like for people hanging out in the wintertime when it's really snowy.
Yeah.
They have these instruments built into the tabletops that people play
Yeah.
after they have their reindeer stew and things.
Yeah. That's right. Let's see here. I'm gonna try a little segue here. Let's see if it's a little bit technically challenging, but anyway, we're gonna move on via this Monroe piece. See how it works.
I married me a wife, she gave me trouble all my life. Ran me out in the cold snow, rain and snow. Ran me out in the cold rain and snow. She come back along your head.
Richard,
And I'm not gonna be treated
you were right there.
way. It's the way.
Look at the screen. My wife's coming down the stairs. No, here.
She just came down the stairs.
Come down to look at you. Yes. She just came down the stairs. There he is.
Hey, how you doing? Great to meet you.
Hi. Mwah, 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 mwah.
She come into the room.
I interrupted my own solo with that.
Did you? I missed that.
I interrupted my solo with my wife.
Oh yeah.
Solo, you want to hear the solo again?
No, it's all right. It's
Richard, I'll say one thing about at that point, you had found the secret of playing backup under the vocal.
Oh, yeah.
That's so good, man.
Yeah. It's Coltrane.
Very bluegrass.
She gave me trouble all my life. Let me out in the cold rain and snow.
Parallel fist.
Thank you, Christopher.
Let me out in the cold rain and snow. This is where
That's my technical experiment for the day. This is Muleskinner.
Oh. Yeah.
David.
Rick Tremolo.
came into the room where she met her fate. Oh, I'm not going to be treated this way. This way. And I'm not going to be treated this way. I married me a wife, and she gave me trouble all the time. She ran me out in the cold rain and snow. Rain and snow.
Great.
Ran me out in the cold rain and snow. And her cheeks were as red as a rose.
All right, we ended on the weird chord.
Well, that's my first introduction to the two of you. I got that album probably in 1975 or so. And I've been a fan ever since. Do you have any recollections from the recording of that?
Well,
Yes,
Clarence White,
Oh, yeah.
that's the recollection.
Oh,
And Roland on it too.
There's this video,
Oh, yeah.
and there's a couple of shots with you and Clarence singing duet from the side that are unforgettable. The two of you just clicks, man. It was just wonderful having you and Clarence.
Dark Hollow, I believe it was.
You know, I met Clarence in Boston when the Kentucky Colonels came there, and I was going out to the folk clubs. They played a place called the Unicorn, and I started to be friends. I went every night.
Mm-hmm.
My mother used to drop me at the MTA in Dedham, and I would take the MTA all the way to Kenmore Square and change. Oh, what? The Unicorn was over in that part of town. I'd just take the MTA into Kenmore Square in Boston, and I went every night because they were, you know, a bluegrass band on the road. They're just hungry. They're playing the music. That's all they're there for. And they invited me to come by. So one day I took a bus or something, and I got in early, and went up their apartment, and the least thing that they didn't want to have anything to do with playing music. They wanted to just hang out and go eat something. And so I said, well, can we play? We try one, and everybody played everybody else's instruments. Billy played the bass. The bass player, Roger played banjo, and then Bobby Sloan was there. He was playing fiddle, and then Rowan and Clarence. And I said, Clarence, don't you want to play? And he said, no. It's like, yeah, here, you play my guitar.
Oh.
So it was his D18 he handed me. He didn't hand me the big 28 that Tony used for so many years later.
Oh.
And I was surprised to find that the strings were absolutely dead. I mean, dead beyond... There was no tone at all, and you know how he played, and he got such tone.
Yeah.
You know, it was the guitar. He made the guitar sing. Those strings had no life left in them at all, and they were light gauge strings. So Tony ended up playing that kind of style on medium gauge strings on the big D28. But Clarence, he got his finesse and his feel at that time anyway on a D18. Now, when he was playing with Scotty Stoneman, he was doing a lot of that stuff on the big D28.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he didn't change guitars at that point. And that was just before he went with the Byrds. But yeah, Clarence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Richard, please.
I just said he's wonderful. He's just unforgettable in every way.
See, here is another one from that album.
He could get more out of the note.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. This is a good one. Just Clarence could get more out of a single pull off a string than 10 notes. Yeah.
We'll try that again. Bill Keith.
Bill Keith. That is melodic stuff, man.
Good. Yeah, that is Grisman, by the way. Astro, that's Grisman.
Yeah, why don't y'all tell who was on that album? Some people might not know about it. That album, I think, is the most successful attempt in, juxtaposing bluegrass with country or rock or something. It's really tasteful.
Well, thank you, but I have to say about that tune, that is only Clarence playing guitar. He is playing the rhythm guitar and the lead.
Oh, really?
And that's why that is a priceless cut. I mean,
And he overdubbed the.
he may have overdubbed his solo, but he played rhythm because I remember it was like, well, Pete, we don't really need two guitars. And I was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was Bill Keith.
Yeah.
He played pedal steel and banjo.
Yeah.
Who else, Richard? Who else was on it? You produced it.
Grisman, Clarence White, and that's it. Oh, John Kahn on bass.
John Kahn.
And John Guerin on drums, occasional drums. Remember John Kahn? He's no longer with us.
No, but he replaced the guy from the blues band that played the first sessions, who might be still on, was left on one or two cuts.
Was his name Schulman?
Oh, Stuart Shulman.
No.
That was the video. The live was Stuart Shulman.
No, he played in that band. I'm going up the country, baby, did want to come. It was on the hit parade. Oh, Can't Eat.
No, Larry Taylor was the bass player in Can't Eat. And Larry Taylor tried out with us for the
Larry,
and he couldn't get it. He could not get the 1-5. He was just too oriented. Great bass player. I've worked with him on many things before and since then, but not bluegrass. It's interesting.
Is he still alive?
No. All the bass players are gone.
Oh, jeez.
This is sad.
From another cut from this particular album.
Riding with the wind, she's come and gone again.
You know, nobody could ever cover that song.
We couldn't even play it. So
it's just so unique and out of the box. I loved it.
Well, you know that little off chord there.
Yeah, the diminished.
That's from when we used to sit around for hours.
Yeah.
Playing Little Rock Getaway.
Yeah.
And that other one in C. Oh yeah, the off chord.
There was that waltz that we played forever out on the farm.
Oh gosh, you remember that?
What was the female's name? Something's waltz. It never came to light except when we played it personally. I think. Lydia's waltz.
Mad Lydia's waltz.
Yeah.
Ended up to be on an Earth Opera album.
Oh, that's right. That's right. What a great! I love that. I love playing that with you over and over again. We played all day long. Yeah, I think we went out to play that for the cows.
That's right. We did play for the cows out there.
They didn't know. They couldn't care less.
They were like the best audience we ever had. Really. When we lived in a farmhouse.
Yeah.
Way out in the country near Nashville, and the lady who lived there was a Christian organ player, and she said that God had sent us to be there for her to play her music too, because we played music all the time. We bothered her with our music, And so when we finished playing, and we rehearsed all the time, I remember she would start playing the organ. She had a little Hammond in her living room. And we'd be hearing Christian hymns long into the evening because we were sent from God to be for her to play to.
Can't argue with that.
No.
No refuting that one.
That's just how it is.
And another thing we can't argue over is this fiddle kick off here. Mr. Richard Greene kicking off Blue and Lonesome 2 from the same album.
That's Clarence singing lead.
Yeah. And playing that guitar, the electric.
Yes. Yeah, man.
When I hear that whistle blow, I wanna find my suitcase and go. The lonesome side of a train going by makes me and cry.
The Banjo thing.
Here's Bill Keith.
That's great. There you go. That's it right there.
Tell you what, there's not much to say after that. Man. We're on here.
That's right.
Nashville West.
The Flying Burrito Brothers.
Well, funny enough, just up a couple hours up the road from me lives, the man who's been building those pull string guitars.
Yeah.
All these years.
You mean this?
Gene is up the road, and he plays old time banjo and sings Grandpa Jones tunes.
Wow. Clarence really got onto that big time.
Oh boy. Yeah. And Marty Stewart has Clarence's original Telecaster.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he makes use of it.
Yeah.
He does. Yes, he does.
Great player. Yeah. So you've been involved in a lot of projects, so maybe I don't know if y'all want to come back a second time and continue, because I don't want to wear y'all out.
We need time on sales tax title, which is, I consider that one of mine and Pete's opus. We finally got together in a big way. We spent a lot of time selecting Bill Monroe tunes in advance, and it was nominated for a Grammy. Couldn't do that without Pete. Sales tax, I don't have it here, but we should talk about that at some point, not now.
And
well, wasn't that Sonny Osborne who was?
Yeah, it was great. Sonny Osborne.
Yeah.
And Tony Trischka on some of it, and you on all of it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on that one, baby. That was a good record, man, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, you all have played with Tony Rice in different configurations. So maybe we could see if we could get Tony to come on and.
Oh, that'd be great, because Pete and I have both done tons of work with him, entirely separate from each other on that.
Yeah.
Tony's earlier albums, and then Pete and Tony, I don't know, for years we toured as a duo. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I've saw them several times.
That'd be great. Great combination there.
Yeah.
I'd like to just also, just a little bit of a shout out. Somebody had my Pandora radio feed on the other day, and a lot of the people that I really owe a creative tip of the hat to, one is Ramblin' Jack Elliott.
Yeah,
he's on my feed, and it's like he's like the origins of, he's the link between Jimmy Rogers, Hank Williams, and Woody Guthrie.
Yeah.
And then the other guy who I heard yesterday on there, it just blew my mind to hear him again, and I just saw him recently down in Tennessee, is Norman Blake.
Wow.
I mean, there's a man who had a purity. I mean, when these records of his have a purity, his recording is purity of melody and it just impeccable feel. And his songs he writes are absolutely great. And I just wanted to say that because there's something that sparked my ears recently, You don't often get to hear.
Yeah.
Hardly ever want to go back and listen to anything I've ever done, but now it's starting to sound all right. What's
It takes time.
It takes time. But we're the worst, our own worst audience. It takes us forever to catch up.
Yeah.
And I think like my best work of all time might be those recordings with Bill Monroe. They're right there. I mean, I can't play like I don't know how I played like that, to be honest with you. What
I noticed and what we've been listening to, Richard, is how you deeper and deeper and deeper you got into what Bill wanted.
Yeah.
In the time and tone. And then by the time we did Muleskinner, you were free to do some of your, improvisations that you wouldn't have been done with Bill. But the thread is strong all the way through. The way through Muleskinner. It's like it didn't like suddenly end.
Yeah.
And
he was my teacher forever. It never ended.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. That's true. Yeah.
Well, I have. Let's see here.
I'll let you be honest. 3. I mean, I'm fine, but I like this. Is,
let me see right quick here if I can.
Whatever happened to the 3-minute single?
Yeah.
Since we got the election tomorrow, I thought we could play that.
Oh.
Well, White House Blues.
You're bound to die. Oh, yeah. After he come running, he took off his face. In there, better catch him. You're bound to die. You're bound to die. Shot my husband and I married back to Washington. Mixing in the wine of blue and red, dancing in the graveyard, taking in he's gone, gone, gone. Oh, like fear in your heart.
Let me make a quick comment on that. That's an old-time fiddle style where the fiddle would play the tune all the way through, no matter what else is going on. So that's, yeah, I was trying to emulate that. It's not like bluegrass at all. It's a whole totally different thing.
Wasn't that originally the North Carolina Ramblers?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But
you played old-time music for a while, Richard.
oh, yeah, that's where I kind of started playing on the fiddle.
What was the name of that group that you had back then?
Well, there was the Dry City Scat Band
That's right.
with David Lindley in the band. And I took lessons from Mike Seeger back then.
That's
The
right.
New York City Ramblers were King of the Ash Grove. I was there every night in the front row. I
Absolutely.
love those guys. And
Absolutely.
Mike Seeger was my first. Then Scotty Stoneman showed up in town and finished the job. You know, so those are my two fiddle influences that Scotty took over.
Yeah, man.
Here, here's another piece here that y'all recorded. This is another old Monroe. So there were Monroe tune. So on the Muleskinner album, there was like Pete and then Richard and then Bill Keith. They had all played, or you all had played with Monroe. Well, Clarence never did, but somebody said Monroe used to ask him to join the Bluegrass Boys.
Don't know. Good idea, but Pete was there. Can't follow Pete.
Clarence is too syncopated, you know.
That wouldn't have worked.
Well, Stoneman wouldn't have worked out too good. You know.
I brought Stoneman backstage at the Opry to play for Bill. I wanted to introduce them. And Bill just was didn't listen to a note, couldn't care less. Just not there for Scotty. It was interesting.
Well, I remember, Richard, we were on the bus and we played Bill a tape of Scotty because we were championing him. We used to go over to his place and play with him and Jay. Some way over in Nashville somewhere. And I remember Bill's comment after he heard this tape that we just loved this. It was the Kentucky Colonels.
Yeah.
He said, "A man who plays like no man can follow that." He said, "No man can follow that. When a man plays like that, he's about to leave his body."
I don't think it was a compliment when no man can follow that.
No, and no man could leave. Man's about to leave his body. Well, Scotty had passed away within months after that.
Yeah.
So that's the Bill's thing about following. It's not just the listener has to follow it, because the listener will pretty much go wherever you want to go. But I think it's like after a Scotty solo, who can follow that? Really, it's like.
Yeah.
I mean, he won a lot of fiddle contests, and in a fiddle contest, nobody is supposed to follow you. Yeah, but we loved him.
Well, I loved him. I heard him for the first time. It was at Kentucky Colonels, "Living in the Past," that album on Rounder Records up there.
Yeah.
With live tapes from LA. There was some pretty amazing energy in that music.
Well, Scott, he burned hard.
Yeah.
John Delgado was responsible for resurrecting all that Kentucky Colonel stuff from Scotty, and John was a great supporter of this music.
Yeah, I just emailed him a few days ago and see if he would be interested in joining us. I haven't heard back. He's been in bad health here lately.
Yeah, I know. I don't think he could have done it. Anyway, I wouldn't want to ruin the purity of just the two of us.
No.
No, John did a big deal. He resurrected Muleskinner. He did it all, man.
Yeah, that's right. Did it all.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Muleskinner here, let's just do this fine number here from the Monroe songbook.
Some folks like a summer drive when they're walking by, strolling through the meadow green, it's pleasant down, no doubt. But give me the winter time when the snow's on the ground, all about the wind that's slowly on the ground. I trace a little footprints through the snow. I found a lot of footprints in the snow. Just a happy day, never lost away, all about the wind that's slowly on the ground. I dropped in to see her, there was a girl moon. Mama said she just said that, but she'd be returning soon. I found her little footprints and a trace comes through the snow, but I found her with no left on the ground. I found her little footprints in the snow. I traced her little footprints through the snow. Bless that happy day that never lost away, for I found the wind was slowly on the ground. Now she's up in heaven, she's with the angel band. I know I'm gonna see her in that happy land. Every time the snow falls, it brings back memories, for I found a wind was slowly on the ground. But I traced a little footprints through the snow. I found a little footprints in the snow. Just that happy day that never passed away, around the wind was slowly on the ground. I traced a little footprints through the snow, but I found a little footprints in the snow. I bless that happy day that never passed away, but I found the wind was slowly on the ground.
Well, that's my.
That wears me out to listen to that. There are so many musical ideas in there. It's like,
Yeah.
woo!
Yeah.
I think we left the path a little too far.
Yeah, we syncopated a few notes now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't want to keep y'all too late, folks, or late, but it's.
You do a rerun.
Yeah, I'd like maybe see if you could come back in the near future, and because we've only around 1973 here, so.
I'd love to do it. I just want to answer a question here from Astro.
Oh yeah.
I always wondered what this song was about. Did she wander off or was she murdered? She wandered off.
And then got murdered.
No, he
No.
found her. He found her little footprints in the snow.
But just the footprints, right?
But then he cooked her in a big pot.
Sure.
Oh, oh. No, that reminds me of Jerry Garcia when they said, "Are the Grateful Dead going to China?" And Jerry said, "Well, we like Chinese food." And then they said, "No, but have you booked a tour?" And Jerry very quietly says, "Chinese, little but tasty." Sorry. Whoa.
Well, he was a funny guy.
I have to talk about the censorship people about this.
I'm just kidding, folks. In case you don't know, I'm just joking.
I know.
I was going to say, I'd love to be on a little longer, but we have a bank to rob downtown, and the guys are here, and
They're already there.
they're waiting for me. The getaway car's all revved up, and I mean, if I don't show up for this one, it's starvation for the next 6 months.
Times are mighty hard, you know.
Times are hard.
Yeah. Well, I think so. If we could come, it would be wonderful if we could do another episode. I'm gonna leave. Richard had earlier talked about a particular tune or a song from that album, and that was Dark Hollow. Y'all remember recording that, or you remember recording that?
I do, and I just want to say thanks, Jen, for pulling this together. It's really a pleasure to hang out with you and Richard.
Yes, and we just have to do this again. Excuse me. I know this is not a very slick show, but it's about the essence of the music, and the production is amateurish at best. But just bear with me. We
appreciate it, man. Thank you, yeah. Richard. Good to see you, bud.
The only way we and Pete can get together is through you. It's great.
I mean, it's it.
Modern technology is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so here's Muleskinner playing Dark Hollow, and then, I was going to ask a little bit about that TV show you all did. Do anybody want that famous TV show now?
Well, Richard had organized a show in LA that was to feature Bill Monroe.
His backup.
And we were going to be the son. He was going to be the father. It was called Father and Sons, and we were going to be the musical sons of Bill Monroe at this radio station, right, Richard? And I remember Bill still had my phone number. Or no, he called the radio station, and they called me to the phone, and Bill was up there in Sacramento. He said his bus is broken down, and so it was no longer the Fathers and Sons show.
Just the Sons.
Yeah, we were all rehearsed, ready to go. So we did the video, the live TV show without him, and that was Muleskinner. And then we recorded the album, and then that live TV show John Delgado put out on another CD here.
Yeah.
Which is really good. The live is, in a lot of ways, is different and as good as the recording.
Yeah. And there's a guest appearance by Maria Muldaur.
Yeah, I think she's on there.
Sitting alone in the moonlight, I believe she did.
Yeah, she had a hit record then called Midnight at the Oasis.
Yeah. Clarence played on that album, I believe.
Really? That was David Nichtern wrote that song and produced her music at the time.
I'm on that album too. No, she was on one of my albums, but I don't think on this one. Anyway.
Well, she's on one of the bluegrass ones. We did a duet for you.
Yeah.
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 I'm going to sign off for now, but
okay. Yeah, I'll get in touch with you, and then we can do the next.
Thanks. It's awful great to see you guys.
Yeah, you too, Richard. Thank you.
All right.
Here we go.
rather be in some dark hole where the sun don't ever shine, than to be at home alone and knowing that you're gone would cause me to lose. Then blow your whistle for a train, everybody on that train. I'm going away, I'm leaving today, I'm going, but I will come back. I'd rather be in some dark hole where the sun don't ever shine, than to be in some big city, just walk with your own mind. Then blow your whistle freight train, everybody on the train. I'm going away, I'm leaving today, I'm going, but I ain't coming back. When blow your whistle freight train, can you find a man train? I'm going away, I'm leaving today, I'm going, but I ain't coming back. I'm going away, I'm leaving today, I'm going, but I ain't coming back.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for this evening. And on Thursday, Seth and I will be back with the regular episode of this Rhinehart Archives. So that's on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So so come back and tune in again. Thank you very much, folks.